Good evening, my name is Simon Littlejohns. I'm a tax partner here at Friend Partnership Limited based in Birmingham. I'm talking today about Mr. Hammond's budget, which he described as a budget for Britain's future. He described it as a budget for the strivers, the grafters and the carers. A budget for everyone and not just the few. With regard to business, there were a number of measures, the first of which was an increase in the annual investment allowance to £1 million from the current £200,000. There is going to be a targeted relief for goodwill that is present with the acquisition of IP pregnant businesses. There is a freezing of the VAT registration threshold at £85,000 for the next 2 years. Mr. Hammond recognised that entrepreneurship is very important in the UK, and despite pressure to eliminate or radically change entrepreneurs' relief, he has stuck with it with one minor change to the ownership requirements, which is extended from 12 months to 24 months. The new rules with regard to single-person companies, IR35, that have been rolled out in the past year with regard to public sector organisations will now be extended to medium and large companies in the private sector. In the anti-avoidance measures that he announced, he claims that £2 billion will be saved over the next 5 years. There was one worrying mention of R&D and the fact that there will be now a limitation with regard to the PAYE, that those claiming R&D tax credits will be bound by. We will need to look at the rules there to see how this will affect businesses, but it may force businesses to structure their affairs in a slightly different way to fall within the revised regime. Mr. Hammond announced a new digital services tax, which is to be 2% of revenue generated in the UK, and it's to come into force in April 2020. It's important to note that this isn't a tax on online transactions. It is completely different, and it's primarily aimed at the likes of Google and Facebook. This is good news for the UK headquartered tech companies who are competing with the global mega companies on an uneven playing field at present. Mr. Hammond announced a new high street fund of £675 million to help Britain's ailing high streets deal with the economic pressures they are facing. In addition, he made some changes for the smaller businesses and their business rates. Mr. Hammond also announced certain measures to combat plastic pollution, but he shied away from imposing a tax on disposable cups, whether it be for coffee or other beverages. Mr. Hammond finished with some good news with regard to personal taxation. He's actually advanced the manifesto pledge, which was to increase the personal allowance to £12,500 and the higher rate threshold to £50,000, and he's actually brought that forward to be effective as from April next year. In addition, Mr. Hammond made no reference to pensions at all, which will be a great relief to many individuals who are busily saving for their retirement. So that is one bit of good news. It was no news, but it was good nevertheless. Mr. Hammond concluded his speech with a reference yet again to austerity coming to an end. He did also indicate that if matters don't go in the government's favour with regard to Brexit, we may see another budget in the spring. As you will have gathered, there is a lot for businesses to think about over the coming months. If you would like any help with the issues that have been raised and the planning that you might wish to undertake, please do not hesitate to get in touch. My contact details are on the website, as is further detail of the measures that have been announced today. The website is www.friendpartnership.com. Many thanks.